Hello and welcome to a very special edition of The Pressing Matter. My name is Peter Tanyanyua. Today we're taking a closer look at the call to action that was made by the President of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, on all local authorities in Zimbabwe to make sure that their master plans, their evaluation roles and their ERP systems are in order. Today we are at Town House and we want to find out more. And of course, let's remember it is really worrying because the Minister of Local Government recently said that most of the local authorities could not meet the June 30 deadline to submit their master plans drafts. Let's find out more. So we are back here at Town House and we are with the Harare Mayor, Councillor Jacob Mafume. We just want to know where you are now after the June 30 deadline, where we are with the evaluation roles, where we are with the ERP, and did you submit the master plan according to the deadline?
We have submitted the master plan. We have reinstated the ERP. We also completed the general evaluation role. So the things that needed to be done in terms of the framework and in terms of the call to action as issued by the President have been completed. We now wait for the evaluation of the quality of the work. I know we've received the feedback on the general evaluation role in terms of the values. We are going to adjust accordingly in line with the market reaction so that we don't cripple business. We'll also look at our ERP. We should be getting the benefits within the next few weeks in relation to our billing. You know, the ERP we are using is the same ERP that's being used in Blawayo and that is being used in Zinwa without major problems. So we're looking forward to that aspect of the work working out perfectly.
All right, and more importantly, you mentioned that you are going to introduce this master plan to the residents, and it's never game over for residents. They still have more time to bring in their submissions.
As you know, the resolution says that it will be deposited 8 weeks. Once the President has approved it, it will be deposited for public comment and adjustment for 8 weeks. And during that time, we are there to receive the reactions of the public and make adjustment accordingly.
Well, there you have it from the Mayor of Harare. Let's hear more from what came out from the Special Council.
Among other things, we were supposed to comply with the call to action by one, having a master plan, a draft master plan for the city by the 30th of June. We're also supposed to have an ERP. We're also supposed to have a directorate of planning as a separate directorate and office. We were supposed to have a general evaluation role done and among other critical issues. We were then supposed to do that. We understand that the ERP, we have since reinstated the old ERP before the deadline. So the people are on the ground and they are being, they are setting up the modules. We also were supposed to have a general evaluation role, which we have done. And I must hasten to add that the business community and property owners have approached my office to look at the valuations that they have done. They have sent the cost or our rates very high. We are going to call for a meeting with all the property owners and their representatives in the coming week so that we can discuss the values so that we can reduce the values by a significant amount. We know that in our budget we had factored in a 50% reduction in terms of the formula that we're using to calculate rates. However, because of the impasse between us and the ministry as regards our budget, the property owners are not receiving the benefits of the budgets. I have had conversations with the permanent secretary and the minister on the deleterious effect that the withholding of the budget is having on the ratepayers and their benefits thereto. I was assured informally by the PS and the minister that within the week or the next few days, we will get our budget, and that will bring significant relief to property owners and the ratepayers. Whatever lesson we were supposed to learn, I'm sure we have learned it. Sometimes ukaramba uchidzidzisa munhu unogona kudarika answer munhu odzidza zvisizvo. So tinenge tadzidza, we have learned, and we are humbly requesting that the impasse between us and the mandarins in the ministry is now creating a situation where business property owners are having to sell their properties because they can no longer afford the rates, and there is a flight from the CBD because tenants can no longer pay the rentals that they are supposed to pay. So that needs to be looked at. We also have, we're supposed to do, I mentioned the ERP, the directorate. We have an acting director of planning and the directorate of planning within the council setup, and they are conducting business as such. So we are fully in compliance. Now, a master plan was one of the issues that we had to meet the deadline. I do understand that we sat in this chamber and the residents asked us to extend the deadline. We did as instructed by the residents. We did write to the ministry to say that this was the request by the residents. By the end of the deadline, our request had not yet been responded to. So we decided that it was important for us to complete the task so as to avoid an unnecessary polemic with central government. As you know, headlines were already being prepared that the city of Harare defies president, city of Harare defies central government. So to avoid such a polemic and unnecessary headlines, we decided to continue with the process and to complete the draft master plan. However, all is not lost for the residents, as the acting town clerk and the director of planning will explain.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. All protocol observed. It is my pleasure to present to you the draft Harare Master Plan report of study and written statement for your adoption. In respect of the background to the master plan, Your Worship, I think you have said it all. A master plan is a document that deals with what a local planning authority intends to do about the problems that are existing in its area. It identifies the various land use activities that happen within a local planning authority area. It identifies the capacities of those various land use activities. It identifies the deficiencies and how the local planning authority is going to deal with those deficiencies. In respect of the master plan which we have before you, it comprises of the report of study and the written statement. The report of study is a product of the various studies that we did take in respect of each thematic area that we identified or that is there in the report of study. Then out of each study, we managed to identify the present capacities, the deficiencies, and what the local planning authority should do by way of proposals. Let me, at this juncture, maybe make it known that a master plan contains general policies and proposals. After a master plan, then we can have a local plan which gives the details on development of each property or on each local area. A master plan is general, it covers the whole city, but a local plan covers particular areas within the city. It derives its provisions from the master plan, and it has to comply with the provisions of the master plan. Where a local plan is not complying with the provisions of the master plan, that provision has to be revised so that it complies with the master plan. This is a draft master plan which we will submit to the ministry. The ministry will evaluate the draft master plan and advise us to put it on public deposit for 8 weeks. Between now and the 8 weeks, we will be engaging with the public. We will be getting any submissions that will be coming from the public so that those submissions are taken care of in the master plan. We have been attending all feedback meetings that have been happening within the city with the intention of getting views from the public on the master plan. And all those views will be taken into account, they will be taken care of in the eventual product that is going to be approved by the minister. The procedure goes like this. We will submit the draft plan to the minister. An evaluation will be done on the documents that we are going to submit. Thereafter, the documents will be put on public deposit. We are going to have a copy of the document at the maps at every district office so that the public is given an opportunity to view and make their comments. After the 8 weeks, we will attend to all matters that would have been raised by the public. And we also write a report to the minister to say these are the issues that we received from the public on our public exhibition of the master plan. And we will indicate in that report on how we would have dealt with those matters. So the plan and that report will come back to the Works and Town Planning Committee and the full council before the final document is submitted to the minister for approval. Once it gets to the minister will again will instruct the Department of Spatial Planning to peruse, to go through the plan and also go through any issues that may have been raised by the public and see as to how the city would have dealt with those issues. Thereafter, a technical report will be prepared by the Department of Spatial Planning advising the minister on what to do with the master plan. The minister will proceed to approve the master plan or send it back to the local planning authority to attend to any other issues that he may consider should be attended by the local planning authority. In the event that he decides to have it approved, he will sign it and advertise it in the Gazette to say that the Minister of Local Government and Public Works has approved this local plan, but it shall become operative on this date. It's normally given 6 weeks before the plan becomes operative. These 6 weeks will allow the public to again challenge the plan if they feel that it can be challenged. But in the 6 weeks that it will be on the final gazette, the public cannot challenge it on the basis of what is contained in the plan, on the substantive issues of the plan, but they will challenge it on legal matters to say maybe this plan they are allowed to challenge it on a point of law. Maybe there are some procedures which may not have been done. The public will be allowed to challenge, but not on the contents of the plan. This is by way of introduction. I will now read through the report which was recommended for adoption by the committee yesterday. The first recommendation says that Council fulfills its mandate by adopting the completed draft Harare Master Plan as enshrined in Section 14 of the Regional Town and Country Planning Act of 1996 as read together with the regional town and country planning master and the local planning regulations, and the call to action by His Excellency, the President of Zimbabwe, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa. That is the first recommendation. Then we are saying on the second recommendation, the adopted draft master plan to be presented to the President of Zimbabwe and the Minister of Local Government and Public Works as required by the call to action by His Excellency, the President of Zimbabwe, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa. Then our recommendation C says, upon successful presentation of the adopted master plan to the President, the master plan be placed on public exhibition for a period of 8 weeks as required by the Act. Here we are saying, once the Minister gives the recommendation, we are not coming back to the committee to request for maybe the committee's maybe approval to place the documents on public exhibition. We won't come back. As soon as the Minister gives us the green light, we will proceed to display it for 8 weeks. Then for the relevant information, we are saying here we were given the authority to prepare the Harare master plan by full council on 25 June 2018, and we also have the call to action which requires every local planning authority within the country to complete their draft master plans and submit them to the Minister and the President by 30 June 2024. We did disaggregate our master plan into thematic areas, 11 thematic areas. We have a thematic area that deals with the population. It deals with the present population of Harare, the age, sex structure of Harare, those age pyramids, how the population is distributed ward by ward. We have that information. We got it from Zimstats. We have population projections, what we expect the population to be in the next 10 to 15 years, which is the time horizon, the time period of our master plan. We also have a section that deals with the environment. What is the environment like within city of Harare? Where is the center abstraction? Where do we get water pollution? What are the industries? What is the nature of effluent which is being discharged by the industries, and how is that effluent being treated? Then we have an area which deals with the health. It identifies all the health institutions that we have here in Harare, and we measure the number of institutions that we have here in Harare together with the population. Are they adequate? If not, what are the deficiencies? And these are the matters that will now be described. The deficiencies, they will be described in the proposals that form part of the written statement. We have infrastructure. We are dealing with dams, water reservoirs, water treatment plants, water transmission lines. We deal with the airport, with the CESA, the railway lines. We deal with the issues of energy. We deal with the telecommunications, the cell phone, the cellular telecommunication networks. All that information is there. We went to their places, carry out studies, and we got information which deals with their capacities, their deficiencies, and what should happen in the next 2 to 10 years. We also have a section that deals with the spatial land use. It describes the various land use activities that happen within the city and the location of the various land use activities. We have got a section that deals with the GIS and the maps. We have maps such as this one, which describes all the proposals for the master plan. It came from this thematic group that was dealing with the GIS and the maps. We also have a thematic group in the chapter that deals with the housing and social services. It identifies the number of houses that we have here within city of Harare, the number of residential stands that are there, the number of informal settlements that we have, and what we intend to do with those informal settlements by way of proposals. It deals with industry and commerce, the distribution of commercial activities, the distribution of industrial activities, the shortcomings which are there, the deficiencies which are there, and what we tend to do as a city by way of proposals. This also deals with matters of security and miscellaneous, the existence of police posts and other security matters, the issues of security in the CBD, in the neighborhoods, the community security arrangements that are there within the communities. They are dealt with in this chapter, and the various proposals they are stipulated in the written statement. It deals with administration and finance. It deals with the traffic and transportation, as you may be aware. The issue of traffic and transportation is a topical issue here in Harare. It deals with the issue of ring roads, the issue of freeways, our bus terminali, our ranks, our bus stops, the Zubuko combis, the light rail from railways. It deals with the cars, the air transport. It deals with everything that pertains to transport. These are the areas that are contained in our master plan. For each area that I've spoken about, we do have proposals which form part of the written statement. I can briefly talk about the issues of population. The population is coming from the figures. They came from Zimstats, and we also have we also have a summary on health, where we are saying the health sector is facing funding challenges, and the issue of brain drain, the inadequate health infrastructure, and the issue that in all areas, new areas that we are going to open up, we have to make sure that we provide for adequate health facilities, and also issues pertaining to the participation of the private sector, participation of joint the private sector, government, and the local authority in the provision of health facilities. A summary on the industry talks about the shortcomings of space for SMEs and the formal sector. The SMEs has become a very, very important sector within the city and within the country. The issue of light and service industrial activities, and the issue of informal commercial activities which are happening within the CBD. They are discussed in the industry and commerce subsector. Housing, the rapid population growth, as people, they are always coming to Harare, and these people, we should provide accommodation for these people, because they put a lot of pressure on our need to provide for housing. So we have policies that deal with housing. We have policies that deal with informal settlements, and there are lack of facilities which we have to take care of in the master plan by way of proposals. The issues of high rentals for rented accommodation, we are dealing with those ones within the housing sector. Also, the topical issue of densification is dealt with extensively in this subsector. There are issues pertaining to environment, where we are talking about water pollution, waste management, land degradation, land invasions, traffic congestion, and accidents, street vending. These are dealt with in this area. Then there's also the spatial planning and land use subsector, which deals with the existing land uses, their distribution, whether these land uses are conforming to each other. Are there any conflicts? Is there any obtrusiveness? All these matters are being dealt with in that chapter. Then we have a chapter that deals with the Issues of infrastructure, the problem, I can read out this sentence which saying delivering potable water is one of the most basic of the city of Harare's responsibilities. And it is important to state that over the years, water supply has not been good. The dams that supply water to city of Harare and their capacities, it's mentioned, the capacity of our water treatment works, the capacity of our water transmission lines together with with whether we need upgrading. All these matters, they are discussed in this chapter. Sewage treatment, we have identified all the sewage treatment plants and ponds within the city, and their deficiencies, their capacities, their deficiencies, and how we intend to address the issue of deficiencies. The mismatch between sewage demand and sewage infrastructure, these things, they are discussed in this chapter. The major telecommunication networks, they are discussed, and the proposals, internet services, the need to improve aviation infrastructure, these are in line with international standards, which will drive economic growth. Railways, and the total length of our railway network is identified and discussed in this chapter. Then we have the chapter of poor road networks. This one is dealing with the traffic and transportation. The inadequate public transport, the issue of freeways, the need to preserve our freeways. We have some freeways which have been, where some structures have been built along those freeways, and we are saying our freeways will remain, and those structures, eventually when we decide to construct our freeways, they will have to give way to the freeways. Then the issue of our bus terminal, the issue of inadequate cycle tracks. I think the other day a number of us attended our World Cycling Day here in Harare. It was very, very good. It was refreshing. And out of that day, we agreed that we have to resuscitate our cycle tracks, most of which have been abandoned. The old railway network is discussed. Then in security, we are talking about high crime rates and violent crime, property theft, gang activity, and other forms of lawlessness. These are discussed in this chapter. The issue of poor emergency services, lack of community policing, these are identified as problems, and we also have the proposals that deal with that. Inclusive urban planning, design and governance, community-based approaches as ways of dealing with matters of security, strengthening of the formal criminal justice and policing system. These are the issues that we have by way of proposals within the master plan. Land use planning and its proper land use planning, proper land regulation, enforcement of town planning regulations and bylaws, and enforcement of all other bylaws that we have in the city of Harare. They are discussed in this section. Then there is the last section which deals with finance and administration. This one is dealing with the finance and administration for purposes of implementing the master plan. Because we are saying here, the master plan is going to be a guide. Any other plan that the city is going to come up with, we will get its guidance from the master plan. If you are talking of the local plans, they will be guided by the master plan. Those strategic plans that the city has been developing, all our strategic plans, they should be guided by the master plan. Thank you very much, Your Worship. This is what we have by way of presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on this special edition of The Pressing Matter. My name is Peter Tanyanyua. Keep logged on, and of course, like, subscribe, and give us your comments. Until next time.